Okay, here's these flow jet carburetors. This video isn't really going to be how to rebuild one. It's just kind of giving you things I've learned about these carburetors and how the gas leaks out of them a lot of times and stuff. Stuff I've learned from Briggs Stratton manuals over the last 30 years or so. Now to take this apart, first thing everybody wants to do is take these screws out and pull the top off, but don't do that. Here's what you want to do first. You want to take this out. Actually, turn this screw out a turn or so. So when you're putting it back in, if you want to, you can turn it in by hand and count the turns back out, but usually about a turn and a half will get you there. In this piece right here, if we screw this all the way out, you'll have a little washer here, and there's a little brass washer goes behind it. Make sure that little O-ring is in there. Put a new one in if you get a kit or something. If not, it will leak gas. Don't run this in too far. Actually, you could even put this nut, probably safer to put the nut back in and then put the jet in. If you have it in too far and tighten it up, you'll ram it up into this emulsion tube, which is a tube that's up inside of here. It goes like this and up into here. That's why you can't just take this off. Screwdriver. Here's what I use. 190/62 Briggs. It's a jet screwdriver. Okay. Be careful with screwdrivers like this. See how they got the little things on the side. They flare out. It's easy to gouge the threads in there and mess up the threads. Also, this one's even bent. These are more flatter, where the regular screwdriver comes to a point, like a taper. If you have along one of these bits, I don't know if this will even fit in here now. If you had a long bit like this, they're made more like the screwdriver, so you'd be alright with one of these probably. It's brass, so you want to make sure you're in there good. And make sure if it doesn't come out, put it in carburetor cleaner and soak it or something. This is what I refer to as the emulsion tube. Okay. Now see, this one does have a little Teflon washer on it. Usually they don't have that. You want that screwdriver to fit in there good, because you don't want to start boogering this over, because it will strip these out. If you do strip one of these out, you can drill into it just a little bit and put an easy out in there, and usually can get them back out. Sometimes people drill all the way through and try to pull the head part out, but I usually just something that'll come out easy out or something. Okay, now that we got that out of there, we can take these 4 screws out. I got a picture of one of these carburetors. I'll show you in a second. Now I've got some of these are Chinese carburetors, and they're okay. Some of them better than others. I have got a Chinese one where this was flipped over to the other side, so your throttle hooks up always has to go toward the fuel line side and away from the air side. Sometimes you'll get them and they'll be flipped over, and you gotta take the screws out of here and pull the shaft, flip it back over. But here's what you're going to have up when you see. Now this has got a brass float. A lot of times you get in trouble when you're trying to clean these, because this gasket will stick half to here and half to there. It'll stick on this inside and stick on the outside. If you get a little flat screwdriver or do something like that, you can a lot of times walk the gasket up. Okay, when you're setting the float on these, it's pretty much parallel with this. So if you're holding it up here, it should set level. And then it's just your basic needle valve in here. You push the pin out. The little tab right here That's what you pick up or bend down to adjust the float level. I don't want to pull the gasket off of this one, so I'll show you on this one. See right here, there's a little hole. That hole goes up and comes out over here. It's a bowl vent. Alright. The other part of the bowl vent's right here. It comes down through here and it comes out inside the tube here. Make sure that's clean. Blow air through there. Also, this little hole here goes down into that hole by the emulsion tube. That's got to be clean. You got a cutout here for it. Where your needle fits up in there, it takes a rubber tip needle. If that's real dirty and all in there and you can't get it clean, I'll take a Q-tip, carburetor cleaner, and try to clean it. If that don't work, you can use a little bit of valve lapping compound on your Q-tip and clean it out. But anytime you use valve lapping compound, make sure you get all that out of there. Now this is your idle circuit. Usually that's about 1 turn starting out with. I got it out on this one. Where is it at? Here. That goes inside. There's a wee little passage cut in the side here, you'll see. That way when your throttle plate's closed, you see it's right above it. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that's where it sucks the air through and it pulls the fuel up through. When it does that, it pulls the fuel up through the end of this emulsion tube. Alright, and that emulsion tube sticks up through. There's a hole right here that emulsion tube goes up into. So when you're putting it back in, you got to make sure it goes in there. If you're trying to take this apart without taking this off, see this comes straight up, it will bend the tube up. Sometimes it'll damage the area around where this fits in, makes it loose, and then it doesn't want to suck the stuff up right at idle. You can buy a new brass float. A lot of the Chinese ones come with a plastic float. I really don't like them. It seems like a lot of these I get a lot of bounce. It cuts out when I bounce and stuff like that with the tractor. Let's talk about this Welch plug. Sometimes they'll blow out when it backfires or something. The kits usually give you a new one. It's actually just an 1 3/4 Welch plug. When you put these in, get everything clean in there, put it in. See how that one's dented in some? When you dent the end in, it swells it out and tightens them up. Now we'll get to this emulsion tube. A lot of times when you shut one of these off and it leaks, it can be the needle valve, but most of the time it's one of these. If you look right here, there's a taper part right here. That's what goes up in the hole, and that's what seals in there on that hole. You see the hole gets smaller inside there. Also notice on this side of the taper, that little hole right there, that's inside of here. Whoa. Inside of here, that's connected. So you want to make sure that passage is clean, and there's some on the tube that's clean. You want to make sure that that tube's hauled all the way through. Sometimes I like to use the old emulsion tubes. It seems like the holes in the barrel and the one up here are a little different size on the newer ones. A little bit smaller on the newer ones on the kits come with. So if my emulsion tube's good, I'll try to clean it up and I just use it.